Hi. Casey Goodwin. What? Aren't you Landry's used to time travelers at your door?
So it's true.
Season 3 of The Way Home actually gave us a decent number of answers, although most of them just opened the door to more mysteries in the long run. It all started with that jaw-dropping scene in the premiere, a baby abandoned by the pond, shrouded in mystery. Fans spent the whole season wondering who he was and why he was left there. By the time the finale rolled around, we finally got one solid answer. The baby was Elliot all along. Yep, grown-up Elliot, played by Evan Williams, was once that bundled-up little boy, left by his own time-traveling mother. She jumped into the icy pond with a man who clearly had to be a Landry, though his face was never shown. Now, knowing Elliot's identity doesn't actually tell us much about why he was left there or how exactly his mother was connected to that mysterious Landry man. Those questions are being saved for Season 4, which Hallmark confirmed was happening just one day before the finale aired. In the meantime, Kat and Elliot are gearing up to dig into his family's history with the pond, while Dell has her own mission, finding Jacob. Jacob took off after Louis Goodwin threatened him with attempted arson charges. And when Dell eventually figures out that her boyfriend Sam knows a lot more about Jacob's time travel than he's been letting on, it's safe to say she won't be thrilled. But for viewers, there was at least some satisfaction in finally confirming that Sam has his own relationship with the pond. Speaking of unresolved mysteries, Casey's real identity is still dangling like bait on a hook. The Season 3 finale teased us with the idea that we were about to find out the truth, but the reveal was yanked away at the last second. Instead, Alice ran into Casey and blurted out her theory that she and Max were Casey's parents. Casey shut that down immediately, saying Alice was wrong, then casually confirmed they were both a Landry and a Goodwin. Beyond that, Casey refused to spill anything more, claiming they didn't want to break more rules. It's probably going to be a while before we get a straight answer here. The top fan theory right now? Jacob is Casey's dad. In episode 10, Casey helped Jacob by producing Susanna's real will, which put them firmly on the same side against Louis Goodwin. Plus, the two actually look a lot alike, and with Alice officially ruled out as Casey's parent, Jacob's odds are looking better and better. But now that Jacob's gone missing again, and we have a good guess as to where, the whole situation has become even messier. Showrunner Alexandra Clarke explained why they didn't just tell us who Casey was in the finale. She said they realized they could reveal it in episode 10, but decided to hold back because it was such a big moment. In her words, it was too important to just throw away in a quick scene, when there's still more story to tell. So, Casey remains a wild card, part Goodwin, part Augustine, part Landry, and we're left to keep guessing. Which brings us to Jacob's latest disappearing act. In one of the final scenes, Dell had a bunch of letters from Jacob sitting on the table, including a new one in which he said he was leaving, so his family wouldn't be in danger anymore. Then Sam called to break the news that Jacob was gone. When Dell asked how Sam could be so sure everything would be okay, Sam simply said, "I just do," all while standing right next to the pond. That detail alone makes you wonder just how much Sam really knows. As for Jacob, it's hard to believe he's just hiding out in the present day. Given his history, it's more likely he went back to 1816 to be with Elijah. With Cyrus weakened after the fire and Susanna running things under the guise of his leadership, Jacob is in a safer position there than before. He still has Susanna's real will, which he could use against Cyrus's sons. Of course, there's another possibility. Maybe Jacob is trying to find Casey. They didn't exactly leave on clear terms, and Casey definitely has answers Jacob wants. The problem is, chasing them down could mean breaking the pond's rules. Then there's the wild card idea. Jacob could be heading towards some kind of family reunion with Colton, since he knows exactly what Colton discovered before his death. Now, back to Elliot's mom. Her reveal in the finale was a curveball, mostly because we'd already seen her before without realizing who she was. The episode ended with Elliot reading a letter from her, sent via his dad. He recognized a quote from T.S. Eliot, his namesake, and Alice suddenly remembered meeting a girl in 1974 who showed her that same book. Alice told Elliot she thought she'd met his mom, but that only deepened the mystery, especially when they realized a clock with the same poem was hidden in a wall built before the book was even published. This letter included the phrase, "I jump for love," which Kat pointed out could only mean one thing. Elliot's mom time traveled too, and she must have done it with a Landry. In a flashback, we saw her place the note in baby Elliot's crib before she and the mystery man jumped into the pond. The identity of that man is still wide open. We only know he had to be a Landry to use the pond. The lingering questions pile up fast. Where did she travel to? Who did she become? Have we unknowingly seen her in another time period already? And then there's the question of how Elliot ended up with Vic in the first place, especially since Colton was the one who found him by the pond. Which circles us back to Sam Bishop, because that guy is raising all kinds of red flags. His calm certainty about Jacob's safety suggests he's got first-hand knowledge of how the pond works. One popular theory is that Sam is actually Jacob from the future. That would fit the pond's backward-only travel rule, since if Sam has traveled, it would have to be from further ahead in time. Another idea is that Sam's an Augustine, though there's some debate about whether that would even allow him to use the pond. And for anyone who likes literary Easter eggs, his name could be a nod to Saint Augustine, who was a bishop, or even a subtle parallel to the Samson and Delilah story, which is all about betrayal. Either way, Sam feels like a ticking time bomb for Season 4. Then there's Lingermore, the estate in 1816, where Susanna and Cyrus lived. Thanks to Casey's discovery of the real will, we now know Susanna intended for Lingermore to go to the Landry family after Cyrus lost his ability to speak. But Cyrus's sons forged a fake will to keep it in the Goodwin family. Jacob shared this with Kat, Dell, and Alice, but whether that changes anything in the future is another question entirely. Given the rocky relationship between the two families, a legal victory wouldn't necessarily mean a peaceful outcome. And Season 4 is already teasing even more twists. At the Hallmark panel at San Diego Comic-Con, Kyler Lee revealed that Kat will be traveling to 1925 next season, where a riddle from a past season will finally play out. Could that riddle be connected to Fern, Jill Frappier, and her cryptic 65 song? According to Clarke, anything Fern says is a clue about her connection to the Landry family. Clearly, Fern has a bigger role to play than we've seen so far. So to sum up the Season 3 finale, Elliot was the abandoned baby, and his mom time-traveled with a Landry. Alice confirmed Casey's a time traveler, but not her future child. Jacob left under mysterious circumstances. Sam seems to know exactly how the pond works, and Lingermore's rightful ownership is now in question. Clarke and Conkie both promised Season 4 will answer a bunch of those lingering mysteries. But, in true The Way Home fashion, it'll also introduce new ones. Or as Clarke put it, the pond's gonna pond. Season 4's starting point will be fresh territory for everyone, with a sense of freedom and closure they haven't had before. And according to Conkie, when it comes to what could happen, anything goes. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.